and out of hope, the people he's working with, the Palestinians that he's working with at the ground level, he says they still manage somehow, somewhere along the line, to find hope.
مواليد غزة تحديدا في مخيم دير البلح، حاصل على درجة البكالوريوس في الفنون الجميلة من جامعة الأقصى. بشتغل كفنان متفرغ، عندي استوديو بمارس حياتي اليومية بهذا الاستوديو.
Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond Survival, the place where we get to explore what comes after survival. I'm Geraldine. I'm your host, Geraldine. This is my co-host, Kelli, and our co-host, Gizmo.
The super host.
Super host, otherwise known as. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us.
He knows the drill now. He's looking straight at the camera like us.
He does.
When you forget me.
When we get ready to sit down and set the table and everything,
And
he's waiting in the wings, literally like he was on the stage, waiting in the wings to. When's my turn to get up on the couch? So he knows
Stephanie
that.
wants to be acknowledged.
Oh.
Yeah, in the background.
Hang on a second. I have
behind every week.
Give me a
And
moment.
the person that has had to wait for hours for us to get
Yeah, there you go.
Stephanie in the background, our producer.
Stephanie Davis,
Thank
our hardcore road runner producer.
Get us all together.
The good news about that kind of personality is you get shit done.
Sitting at that table.
She's the only one that gets shit done. We just follow, don't we?
We're here faithfully.
Yeah,
in
we turn up. We turn up.
We do have a bit of a theme each week, and this week the big theme is heart versus mind, or mind versus heart, and we can delve a little bit further into that. Go a bit more into the table.
Yeah,
and what
welcome
we're
to the
bringing
table,
the
everybody.
table.
Welcome to our table again. So today, just quickly, because I want to pour the cup of tea, and we're hungry as well. We haven't eaten breakfast or lunch. We've got melting moments that we've made. I made those ones with Maria. And what? Sorry.
Stephanie's got a frog in her throat.
You made those with Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Oh, did I?
Yes, I made those.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, scrub, back, new edit.
Welcome, everybody.
Start from the beginning, guys.
And acknowledgement to Stephanie in the background.
Stephanie Davis, our producer, the amazing road runner that makes sure that we are on track as she can humanly possibly force us to be. And on time. We're only an hour late. That's good
But
for
here
us.
we are. And here you are. So thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for
coming to our table.
Yeah, welcome to our table.
Shall we go? We might.
Yeah,
actually
today's
just get a little
table.
bit
So
of
the
an
first
idea
one
of
we've got is melting moments. I've just been corrected earlier, hence why we started again. Stephanie and I made on Tuesday, right? And they're melting moments, and then inside they've got buttercream with lemon buttercream, so they're delicious.
And can I just interrupt? It's like Stephanie doesn't cook, so this is a bit of a miraculous adventure for these to actually even appear.
And they're another one you can make in the Thermomix. I always put the manual recipe on Substack, as usual, but you can make those in the Thermomix as well. It's a Thermomix recipe that says melting moments.
Yum.
Then this one here, we just did by hand. We didn't use Thermomix. It's just a Kelli style recipe. And they're basically chicken mince cordon bleu balls. So, not big balls, just balls. I'm making a reference to Elon Musk's little minion.
But
It didn't translate, did it? It just went.
oh,
Anyway.
she said balls.
Yeah, big balls. I said not big balls, not big balls. As you can see, they're like petty far size for tea. And they've basically got ham and cheddar cheese on the inside, and then chicken mince with some shallots that are cooked and stuff, garlic and salt and pepper, and then they're rolled in panko crumbs and cooked in the oven for about probably 30 minutes.
And we already had to have a sample of that, and I can.
We were all
attest
starving,
it's
so
yummy.
the plate's looking a bit empty. It was full. There was no spaces in between, and then as we were getting ready, we just said, yeah, we're going to have one now.
Yeah.
But the next thing I
A
want to
little
do
bit
before
parched,
it gets
yes.
cold again because we just reheated it. Yeah, thank
I'm
God.
loving these beautiful cups.
Now, these cups are a little different. They're not vintage, although I've had them for 20 years, and maybe some of the Gen Z says, that's vintage. They're not.
Yeah.
Where they come from, only these 2 cups were made.
Oh,
they were handmade.
Maybe they're retro.
They're no retro style, maybe. They were made by a lovely young woman down in Mandurah, where my parents used to live in their retirement years. And when I was staying down there with them for a while, and she made these for me. So they're one-offs. They're like little artworks, all on their own. They're really beautiful.
No.
And if you think about it, she's handmade those on the wheel. That's not like they're pretty perfect. And then you can't see, but inside the cup is the same colour that is here. So really lovely, and then got gold filigree around it. I think she did an excellent job.
What was her name?
I can't remember.
No, that's okay.
It was just I wish I could. It's probably on the bottom of the thing, actually.
And you probably got them.
No, she's just signed it.
Ago, yeah.
She's just signed it, and it's L something, but I can't read the signature.
So
sorry.
I'm hoping you.
Anyway, that's her signature to prove that it's handmade by an artist.
Certainly handmade. That you are all with a drink of some sort, and strap yourself in and join us for the ride.
So what are we talking about today, Geraldine?
We thought we were the very big topic: heart versus mind.
Mind versus heart.
Mind versus heart. It's all transferable. Yes, I was getting to that, Stephanie.
I think today I might need a sugar in my tea. I never have sugar in my tea, guys. But just tells you how late we are and how we have. I literally haven't eaten since 6 o'clock or 6:30 last night. So it's now nearly 2 o'clock in the afternoon the next day.
Yes.
So I'm a little bit peckish and I need some sugar for a bit of a boost.
So shall we get into our topic? Shall we dive in?
Yeah, so what are we talking about today? Do it again, sorry.
So
what did you say?
This time we probably could do this again because I got corrected, but I did it deliberately actually, Steph, because it's really transferable, but I'll do it the way Steph wants me to.
Okay. She's the boss. Let's go.
So we were
Love your bracelet,
going
by
to
the way.
talk to... This one's an original by Stephanie Davis.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
know. Stephanie is an amazing creative, and
she's many
she's a
things,
dab
not just a
hand at
producer.
a lot of things. That,
I didn't notice you.
I know, I just haven't...
Like
got
most
it on.
creators, we have to do 3 or 4 things to survive.
Or 5 or 6.
Yes.
Or 5 or 6.
So an original by Stephanie.
Yeah, beautiful. But it is a beautiful bracelet. You need to show that off.
Yeah.
Is that resin,
Are we
love?
taking it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's lovely. Look at that. Clever girl.
And we always love to adorn ourselves.
Yeah, we do. We'd like to.
And with memories and...
Mum's earrings, mum's ring.
I think that
Mum used to say, get your pearls on, girl.
Yep.
I wasn't really a pearl person, but I am now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And our jewellery tells us that we remember, we're remembered, and that we're loved.
Yeah, and I mean, that speaks into the whole heart story, really, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I do. I said it last week. I love all vintage stuff or things that have meaning. I love crockery, cutlery, jewellery. And the jewellery I'm wearing today is mostly to do with my mum. That both my parents have passed, so I like to bring them out on special occasions in some format.
There you go. You're joining us for this
And
special
yeah, this was
occasion.
an artist friend of mum who made this for me, and so that's lovely. And Geraldine's wearing a bracelet that Steffi made for her. So all those little add-ons are important in life, I think.
It is.
They're probably not to other people, but they are to us.
Yeah. And I'm wearing a spring-themed dress, my jewel dress, I'll call it.
And I'm defiantly trying to bring summer in by wearing as little as possible without freezing to death.
Okay.
Without freezing to death. Well, it looks like I'm wearing a nightie or something, doesn't it? But I'm not. I'm just trying to call in summer because I'm getting really tired of this winter and rain. It's extended this year, hasn't it?
Yes, we've had it's been very cold and very rainy in Perth this week. I think it's the end of winter. As we said last week, it's the first spring.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So we did have a subtitle, "The Knowing of Being," which I thought was quite sort of mysterious. Shall we go into the theme? Or
Yeah, no. Let me explain the reason why Stephanie was insisting on the word "being." Apart from the fact that last week you created a name for an oil that we were going to make for StudioZer0 and Beyond Survival, which was called the Essence of Being,
yes.
which I love, and I am going to create an oil for that one because it's just too good not to. But the word being in this context for today's podcast of really what we're looking into, we always kind of cross it over into global events as well and art, but on the spirit side of things, it's like the being state is the mature part of us, the part of us that is the greater I am. This is again just my belief system and my understanding from my own spiritual teachings. And when let's say the conception of the soul we talked about last week, the conception of the soul and how that carries the memories of every life we've lived and all the experiences in between and everything, the soul is the like the software that carries the memory. The body is the hardware. Well, being in the being state is the I am part, the part of you that is connected to, some might say the greater I am, some might say the source energy, some might say God, whatever you see as the greater higher power, the purity of who we are, every single being on the planet, that's the being state. But to move into the being state, or when you become enlightened, or you reach nirvana, or you become self-realized, all of these language things, right? Essentially, or they all mean the same thing. You've got to a point in your evolution spiritually where you've moved through the knowing, because before you come into any existence, you're in the knowing state. It's like, I like to liken it to the innocence of a child. When you move into the being state, you want to sort of take that story with you, but you move into a state of wisdom with it. So it's the being state is the knowing with wisdom and experience moves you into the being state, and it's in the being state that you can remember, who am I? Am I that I am? These are sort of easy I guess phrases that were coined by people like, Sarah Baba or Ramana Maharshi, or even really, I guess to a degree,
probably all the
slightly different language, but Buddha,
great wise
Krishna. Yeah, there's the I am that I am sort of thing. Even I've got Christian friends who use and speak of. I rather use the word I am than even God, like in the case of Lois, right? Okay. So that's essentially what the being, when we mention in the context of today's episode, when we say the word being, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about who are we in our most pure form, at the highest level, and how that translates into how does obviously the fabric of individual souls that can to join the collective consciousness to remember who we are. The more of us who can remember who we are, the more we can, I hope, save humanity. I really think this contrast at the moment that we're in across the planet, what we see playing out, it really has never been seen in our history anyway, certainly not in the last few hundred years.
And on such a collective level.
Yeah, on such a collective. Well, I feel like as a collective consciousness we're deciding whether we want to save humanity or not. And I'll talk a little bit later, but there's a reflection in an Indigenous story that I want to share with you a little bit later. I don't want to share it right now, just right yet, but that kind of confirmed for me that all of the things that I thought myself in my own space and time was actually collaborated by the Indigenous community here. And talking about when they shut Ayers down and then they did that for the very first time, they asked whites to join them in a meditation for humanity. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And they asked people to stay in their own spaces, which many didn't. They went out to Ayers Rock, which is basically Uluru. And not that they were letting, but most of us just stayed in our own spaces and joined them in meditation at a designated time. And I had quite a profound experience in that meditation, which I wasn't really expecting. I didn't know what to expect, but it kind of confirmed for me, that that's what's happening here. Well, it's bigger than just the autocracy and democracy, the light and dark, or whatever. It really is an unprecedented time on the planet, I feel. Certainly in the the history of this civilization, which goes back, 17,000 years, as far as we know. As far as we know. So that's a very long-winded explanation of what the word being means, and we can talk a little bit more into that. But yeah, and
I think we could delve a little bit deep. I've always been fascinated from very young with that expression as below, so above all. I'm probably going to be mixing things up, but basically.
Oh, that's good. I like
above,
I like to bring lots of different sayings from above, different spiritual beliefs.
Yeah, as above, so is below. I was a big William Blake fan.
You see my little saying from where William Blake above the toilet there?
Yes.
You've seen that. Good.
His drawings as well as words, but I mean all of the. I was fascinated with all the mystics, the Gnostics, the mystics, all religions actually.
Yeah, all religion, no religion is my philosophy.
Yes.
Like all institutes, no institutes, in other words.
Yes.
They serve their purpose, but they're not the end story. They're the things I believe
that
will collapse.
whole idea that we as humans are an embodiment of a greater universe. No?
Unity.
Unity, yeah.
Unity. We did touch on that. And I actually spoke to Lois this week. We finally got a bit of internet connection after she spent some time on the station. And we had she's in Queensland at the moment, but she is coming back to WA early October, and she's gonna join us on the podcast for an interview. So you get to meet the other founding member of StudioZer0, which is lovely, and she's the one I've done the 9 yards with on a spiritual level for 30 years. So we've had many conversations. I've spoken about her before, and we had a long conversation yesterday, I think it was, about where are we at? Where is humanity at the moment?
We're witnessing a lot of. I mean, narcissism is a word that I hear a lot of now, and I think of narcissism, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, weren't we, Stephanie, as really the denial of internal parts of ourselves, so that people are actually compartmentalising themselves, ultimately from themselves. Okay? Well, on this this plane, so we're talking deep and we're talking consciousness.
Even it's a hard thing for people to swallow, but even those human beings at the moment that are causing a lot of this chaos and havoc and would prefer to live in the dark, I feel, or at least live in the current system as it's been created now, and all these accusations that they make about the deep state and what's the other, a lot of conspiracy theories, but on another level, what they're saying is probably right, but they are that they accuse the Democrats of whatever they accuse the Democrats of. I'm watching going, no, you're just talking about yourself. Well, that's all the crimes that you're committing are what you're accusing the Democrats of.
I see that as the
most manipulators do that, don't they?
The denial of themselves by, and this other term, othering.
I think it's a bit more heinous than that. I think they're completely aware. I think it's a game they play. I think it's like they deliberately, through deflection.
I'm not sure.
No, I do. I think through deflection, like the reason they constantly create chaos is to stop humanity. Because what's happening in America, again, it's a ripple effect around the world. And we also have seen, we talked last week about how they're all of a sudden small pockets of some of the ministers in the UK Parliament autocratic. And they have just passed that law, like if you can be classified as a terrorist, and it's 14 if you hold up a sign in protest against what was going on in Gaza and things like that. So, and I didn't know about those until you told me. And I'm sure that there are many people in the UK, citizens, who said, what? We're meant to be a democracy. How can we have sleepers in the Parliament House? That's scary stuff. But this is a common theme happening in many governments, in many countries across the world. This is a world thing going on. It's not just something happening in America. I think everybody's aware of that now. This is something going on. We even have it in Australia. Like recently we had, I think we spoke about it, but we had the protests going all around Australia recently that were against immigration, and at the same time there were those protesting against anti-racism. So they were out at the same time, and they met, and it did get violent at different points. I mean, I think the last time we saw some sort of protesting like that here in the negative was what was the Kerala? When the Lebanese were, when that riot broke out between, that's the last time we've seen that kind of violence, right? But in the end, most of these... Cronulla, that's it, sorry.
I love correcting Kelli.
Yeah, told you I'm hopeless at names. Doesn't stay in my brain unless I've got it written down in front of me.
That's right. You know the content.
I know the content. It's just names. It's just names. But anyway, the bottom line is that's the last time we saw that sort of hate type of rally or protest or whatever. And unfortunately, we just seen it again only a week ago, and it was led by neo-Nazis. And again, we only really uncovered a couple of cells of neo-Nazi, and honestly, when you see these guys, and they were doing all this sort of training out in the bush and up in the, did you see all that on 60 Minutes? And 60 Minutes have been following and tracking them down and stuff. That was going back a couple of years ago now. Some of them ended up in jail. It took a couple of years to put them in jail, and some people that were public figures as well. So scary stuff. So that was there already happening, and again, what the Trump administration has done is given permission for dictators or those who wish to be dictators or kind of want that style of governing to be out loud and proud. And so I think that's why these neo-Nazis felt totally safe leading there. And a lot of the people who turned up for the protest against immigration, I think for the most part they'll regret doing that, if not now, certainly in the near future, because what they realised, they didn't realise it was organised by the neo-Nazis and that's who they were following. They just wanted to have their say about what are we going to do. We've got a housing problem in Australia. We can't even house the people properly that already live here. So why are we taking in more immigrants? Well, it's a very simple question to answer, is because like other democratic nations around the world, and perhaps even others that are not we have a problem with population, and we can't survive without, like there's less children being born in the last 20-30 years right across the globe. And so who's going to be our future? Who's humanity in the future? So there is concerns with, an ageing population. Basically, there'll be more people over the age of 50 or 60. I think something like 60% in another 10 years. So, that's not enough babies being born to then go out, get jobs and pay taxes to support society as it currently stands at the moment. So I think that's a problem for everyone. I think everybody has an awareness of that. I don't think there'd be too many people out there, no matter what country you live in, that aren't understanding of that. So why should we not stop our immigration program? We should, in fact, I think, amp it up, is for those reasons. We don't have. We're only 27 million here in Australia. Look at the landmass we've got. We can do better. And where we can do better is in governing and making sure that housing, and John Kerry, our local MLA, he's working very hard to create, tiny houses in particular in Western Australia, to confront our lack of housing. But that's a massive project and journey that's ongoing. So I understand some of the people who went and protested, that's the place they were coming from, because they're scared. Look, the people we have here, we can't find housing for them, or rental properties even that are, at a reasonable, rational rate. So I understand their concerns, but I don't think a lot of them even understood that actually who they were following and who started these anti-immigration rallies were led by neo-Nazis. Out proud, by the way, at the front of the crowd, on camera. They weren't shy and exposed them. So for many years they've been hiding. And it's really strange, because you see them and you think, they just look like normal Australian middle kind of aged men from all different cultures too, not just white, right? So I don't know whether you saw that.
Oh, I'm very aware of it within different, not just different platforms, but different people that I speak to, and different groups that but it's all distractions upon distractions upon distractions.
It is, but it's important we're talking about the state of humanity, and we're talking about the state of being, and the reason it's important to talk about what we just talked about is because that's, in my eyes, the illness of the spirit of humanity. And that's what the Indigenous people were trying to do a couple of years ago when they did this meditation at Uluru and invited whites to join them, and what they told us is, oh no, we've been waiting for this moment and working towards this moment for 9 years. So they were working on it very privately in the background, and I know I don't ever remember a time in history where they've asked the whites to join them, and they were quite clear about, no, actually what we're doing is fighting for humanity to survive. Now, you have to remember that our Australian Indigenous are the oldest culture and oldest civilisation on the planet. They've been here for 65,000 years, and they've had to survive the atrocities that we, through the colonial period, committed against them.
Very recently.
And recently it's been amped up again.
Years recent.
No, but even just more recently, like as in today, right now, a lot of that stuff sort of has been amped up.
Well, yes, I mean
through the racism stuff, right?
Racism, and also we look at the Burrup Peninsula, Woodside, as the government is only this week. I haven't really looked into the details of this. This wasn't what I was going to speak about, but we might as well.
Yeah, because it speaks into the spirit and heart of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
How do we move from that knowing state, the innocence that within the child spirit, if you like? Yeah. How do we move that into the being state? It's through the marriage of the mind and heart. If your mind is separate from your heart, you can't transcend that story that you're working on. I know sometimes I understand things from my mind for a long time before my heart catches on or catches up or can speak into it. And I'm not talking about that. Of course, I'm not talking about biological heart or the romantic heart. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about human love. I'm talking about unconditional love at its highest level, at the being state, the greater that I am, that part of you that is all knowing and all wise, where the innocent spirit the innocence of the child spirit has grown into the adult spirit. So that's why it's important to have these kinds of conversations because it is a state of humanity.
Well, the government it's unfathomable, but they have approved the Woodside project to go ahead in the Burrup Peninsula, which is, and this is what I mean, I don't actually will have the details, but it's basically given approval to 2070, which is quite incredible, the climate damage that the current levels that it's doing, let alone, it really is the combination of everything. The Guardian put out a graph showing carbon release from planes, trains, automobiles, phones, data, everything, and then you put what Woodside will be releasing into the atmosphere 2070, and it's a combination of everything and more. So it's quite unfathomable what they've just done. And
so now we're not only trying to save the planet, we're also trying to save humanity itself, and I guess really. I do believe the contrast that we're looking at across the globe at the moment, that's what it's about. And the essence of it.
The compartmentalisation of it is that people want to think of it as it's just the Indigenous people are saying we don't want our heritage, and the Burrup Peninsula is beyond. It's the petroglyphs. The local Indigenous groups are custodians, but they're custodians of artwork or parts of human culture that predates them. They don't even know. They don't
even know where that comes from.
Yes, they have extremely long memories, but even that is, well, we're the custodians.
So possibly even further back than 65,000 years is what you're saying.
Yes, yeah.
No, I believe that's
being
possible.
Destroyed as we,
what is that,
with this project. But beyond that, then it's easy to say and target the greenies, the environmentalists, but it's actually people who are looking, and this is where I think the Indigenous and some environmentalists and people that are climate scientists, they're people who actually see further.
Yes.
Than the person on the ground who has their 9 to 5 and their families to feed, but it's very easy for all of that to be compartmentalised again, so it's them, it's not us. And so that people are separated further from what I think is our common ground and our shared humanity and our shared resources. And
I think the single thing that connects every human being on the planet, even those that are heinous and we don't like and that are committing atrocities or crimes or whatever, what's the one thing you believe that connects us all?
Well, there is growing awareness. So I think awareness and the
but as humans, remember if you believe in reincarnation, which I do, I don't know about you, but I do. Couldn't possibly get it right in one life. Then we've all had lives. If spiritual law is correct, we've all had lives where we have been those heinous beings ourselves. So here we are having this life, and we're observing at the moment this 50-50 split, which we've spoken about before. And I guess the question I'm asking here is, there is still that one thing. Make no mistake, it's very easy to point the finger, isn't it, at other people?
Exactly, yeah.
But make no mistake, we've all been that ourselves at some point. So you have to understand. So if we can rise above that and have a bird's eye view, what is the one thing that makes us all equal?
Learning,
obviously.
Education.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the human stuff.
No.
I'm talking about the being state stuff again.
Well, obviously the earth, the ground is our
Well, Mother Earth is her own organised
place, but obviously that can be contested.
Yeah,
contestable.
No, the planet Earth, Mother Earth, if you want to, or Gaia, whatever name you want to give her, it's its own being, an organism on its own, and by the grace of her, we get to be on this planet. And then there are many other planets. They're whole beings on their own, really. If we talk about the science side of it, we're all made up from the same sort of stuff, really. But if I think talking about climate change, and why is it important? I can't believe there's still people who don't believe, but that just seems crazy to me with the evidence clear. However, having said that, I'm trying to think now what else the country was just said.
So what is connecting us all?
Well, yeah, no, I want to get to that, but first I want to sort of just do a little bit of a journey with where I'm trying to take this conversation. It's very easy for us to point the fingers at somebody else who is currently committing the heinous acts, but does that make that person, right, or that soul, that spirit, separate from us? Absolutely not. Remember, we talk about the collective consciousness. I am both the grain of sand and I am the desert. So even I can look at Putin and go, he's got no idea all these atrocities that he's committing against other human beings. That's the way we see it through our human eyes. But actually who he's attacking at some level is himself, right? Yeah. Because we all are part of the same fabric. Every single soul on this planet is connected to the greater I am. When you're in the greater I am, there is no judgment, there is no negative, positive. It just is, right? So even when you finish a life that you may have been a heinous being in, I'm sure that you do your own self-reflection and your own... How they talk about the pearly gates and judgment and stuff like that. For me, my interpretation of that is that you do your own life reveal. You look at that life and you go, well, I could have done that better, or, I wanted to have the experience of what it would be like to be a war criminal or a president who did the wrong thing, or like put the world into chaos by the decisions that are... And also they may have had lives before that where they were extraordinary, benevolent beings. We don't know, right? But at the end of the day, when you get back to source energy, or the greater I am, whatever you want to call it, we're all the same. We're equal, and there is no negative and positive to it.
And we were talking about...
So that's the one single thing, the spirit of thread, the thread of the spirit connects us all. If you could see it, as I have when I've been on the other side, the lines of light... almost like a grid pattern, connects everything. It doesn't matter whether it's a tiny weeny weed or it's the biggest human being on the planet. You can see it. When you stand back and look back at the planet, you can see, and it's always light. It's not dark that connects us, it's light. And light is love. You know, and so when we're in our human mind and human lives, the reason it's important as we're going through our life and we're learning this lesson or that lesson, and you signed up for all that, I believe, before you get here. You've already worked out before you get here what it is that you want to learn from this life. You often have your own soul family that you reconnect with over and over again because you're all doing the journey together. Still, the eye of the needle stuff is at the end. You go through that eye of the needle on your own as a single soul, but you to join the collective again. But I do believe that we do our own self reveals. No one else is judging us but ourselves, right? So the more you can elevate yourself into that I am sort of spirit of, it seems to come, anyway, my personal experience when I've been working through something that I want to grow on or understand, it's usually coming from a space of curiosity for me. Something's happened and I want to try and understand why it happened that way and how it played out that way and what everybody's roles are. Often, sometimes I'm led by the mind, it's my curiosity. I've always had a curious mind and why is that happening and why did that happen? And I just get told as a child all the time that I ask too many questions.
Good.
Yeah. And other times...
You drove your parents a little bit mad.
I drove everybody a bit mad, I'm sure.
Really?
Yeah. Even today, Steph. But also, then the other flip side of that is sometimes it's my heart that knows that something is meant to be or should happen, even though my mind can't understand it. So sometimes I'm waiting for my mind to catch up with my heart. When it's driven, being in the flow is the heart. When I'm in the flow and my heart knows and I just know that that's the truth, even if I don't understand it, I'm willing to take the risk and step into it because I know that my heart is far more wise than my mind. The mind has to catch up with the heart. But other times my mind comes up with an idea and I'm like, no, we need to do something with this, la, 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 la. And it takes a little while to find where does the heart fit into that story. And it's not something you can force. That spontaneous...
Well, that's right.
That spontaneous heart that you have for a story or a person or a situation or an unrest. I don't believe you can transcend that lesson, that learning or that story until the heart and mind are in sync about it. And I think that's the journey. I think as you go along, sometimes it takes years for the heart and mind to become one, and other times it can be a matter of hours. But one thing I do know, it's certainly not out of willpower. We've talked about that before. There's no willpower in it. It's a spontaneous thing because you've done the work. And if you just head down, keep kind of working forward, then I find that it happens automatically. You don't have to force it. If you're in the flow, it will come about. It will happen. So...
How do you get in the flow, Cal?
Well, there's many ways.
I need to actually eat something before we get into it. Or else, because we didn't have...
Well, I wish our government would get in the flow about AUKUS. I said I'd update you with AUKUS. We got another update this week. We're still going ahead with it. I think it's even more tricky now than it was before. So our government is not backing down, even though I absolutely don't think we should now, even more convinced that we shouldn't. Just seems like a lot of waste of money and time to me. But for us West Australians, they're talking about putting it on what we used to call Garden Island, they're calling Stirling. It has been a Navy base for a while.
Amongst us.
Well, again, it's a slow on a slow boat. It's 15 minutes from our shoreline. That's right. Why not go up to if you want to do that? You want to build a nuclear Navy base?
Right on our city.
Right on our city.
Yeah.
So that to me is the most concerning part. I think, not that I would be fully on board with it, but even if they moved it up to Mouth where there's already an American base there, go do your stuff up there. You've already got the base up there. Reactivate it. And I did do it. You know how before I said, I don't know what the waters would be like in Mouth, and how much money it would cost to create what they needed, but certainly it shouldn't be up to the Australian government to pay for it. Maybe contribute, but really, if it's an American, if they want it to be an American base, which is what they're sort of saying.
Why are we paying for it?
Well, we're paying $364 million or something and we won't get any of those for 5 nuclear submarines, and you're looking at 2040, I'm like, oh, this will be over by then. We won't need them, and we've spent all that money for no reason. There's so many other things that we could be spending that money on. Housing, for one. That seems more reality. Yes, we've got to have security measures. Yes, we need submarines. But do they need to be nuclear? No. Does it need to be a nuclear Navy base for America to come and go as they want to? No. These are all the things I disagree on that particular project. But anyway, it looks like it's still going ahead at this stage, even though there's many Australian people who have now protested and said, we don't need this, we shouldn't be doing this. That's been not in the flow.
It's not in the flow.
That is not in the flow with the greater I am or the greater community or the greater collective consciousness, and certainly not in the flow of West Australians, right? Most West Australians I spoke to.
I need more tea.
Even those who...
Oh, holder of the teapot. All tea.
even those who have believe we need nuclear submarines for security purposes, military protection, all that sort of thing. Even they don't want it to be at Garden Island. It's too close. It's too close for comfort. I just keep thinking of, what was that, Chernobyl?
Well...
Chernobyl kind of...
Yeah. No, I'm a bit of a radical at heart.
May have some sugar too,
the whole idea that...
Well, I'm not a radical, and this bothers me, so I would not consider myself a radical. I'm quite common sense based, really.
Well, not to say that I'm not common sense, because I'm not running through the...
No, but you are.
No, but
you're a little bit more forgiving with that sort of stuff than what I am. But even me...
I think it's quite the opposite, I think.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm a bit anti-establishment.
Well, that's what I mean.
Despite my very...
I'm not. I am not anti-establishment.
Yeah, well, you...
I want to have the conversation with mainstream.
Yep.
I think it's important to have the conversation with mainstream. I agree a lot with a lot of mainstream sort of initiatives, right? But on this one, I do not. I do not. Yeah. There's no advantage to it at all for us, I don't believe.
Yeah, I think it's very much a poor decision, really, based on not actually having tools in authority, not utilising the tools and what we actually have as humans to negotiate and to work this all out, and to not live and not to spread more fear, and to not sort of really don't want to be following the United States. They've really shown their colours. And everything I read about the politics of the US is that they're away from diplomacy in the last 60 years, basically, and where they had perhaps better governance, they really have moved away from better governance. And so what we're seeing right now in the US and allegiances is that they're moving...
In that, Geraldine...
It's kind of an end road for that way of operating.
They're no longer operating.
So I'm not really that radical. I think that's a fair read on what's going on.
I'm not saying that's where you're radical.
But I'm the one who said I'm radical. Now I'm thinking, I'm really not that radical.
I think most people are on board with that now. Most people around the world know now.
I think
politician or not,
people like
America is done.
Quo.
They are no longer a democracy. That is the truth of it.
We know that.
All the experts have come kind of forward now in the last couple of weeks particularly.
So we obviously follow, we don't need to be following the US.
No.
We're treading carefully.
It's like saying we already know that Russia's the regime. That's why we have certain guardrails in place, even post-Cold War, where there was a slither of democracy going on in Russia. We still didn't trust them. We still didn't do big business with them, right? And there's a very good reason for that. It's like, and we do business with China, but with guardrails in place. We now have to use that same philosophy with dealing with America, because they are no longer a democracy. I think that's quite clear. And a lot of the experts say, even if with the midterms coming up and all this, let's say the Democrats got in, I don't know that they're much better, really. We'll have to wait and see. But the damage that has been done, it will take at least a bare minimum of 30 years. That's all the experts across the world that talk about when a democracy, and how quickly it can happen. They often refer to Venezuela and what happened there and how fast that happened, and they were a perfectly good democracy.
Terrible.
And now look at the state of it, right? So it can happen very quickly, and unfortunately that seems to be...
I'm just shaking my head at the recklessness and lawlessness of the US government, really, in that situation.
Well, and I just feel for the Americans. I just watched them to do a couple of podcasts talking as a couple, a married couple that were CIA agents together and did missions together apparently. And she grew up and came from Venezuela, so she watched her parents go through all of that, and they made it to the US, and she was very determined to give back. Hence why she did everything she needed to do to become a CIA agent. Or she started out before that she was working for it, let's say, I can't remember the exact, but it was a humanitarian style cause sort of thing. And then eventually, anyway, when you listen to them talk, in very clear terms, they say that...
What was it?
I was just thinking, it's got to have a low battery.
Yeah, see, you're locked in, see? You psychic girl?
Yeah.
We don't have any ghosts this week. That's good.
Not yet, anyway.
No, don't invite them in. Yeah, but anyway, just while Steph's fixing that, I'll just finish what I was saying. So anyway, I just watched a podcast. Anyway,
Back check.
She's got a really good podcast with her and a partner, and I watch it every now and then. And on this occasion, this couple were on there, and I had seen him on Diaries of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett before, just sort of talking about what it was like to be an agent. But this time they very much talked about they've got an exit plan, and that everybody they know, anybody who's, this is the horrible part, anybody they know that has got 5 million plus are already got an exit plan from America to go and live somewhere else. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people wanting to leave.
Was it soon after Trump got in that
even before he got in, they'd been planning it from his first administration, because their fear was that he'd come back in because
wasn't that one of
after the insurrection.
The largest queries on Google was living in Australia, basically.
Well, yeah, everybody.
Remember,
but I just did another search on that. It changes all the time. It changes all the time. I did sigh a little bit of relief. That's terrible. I mean, obviously we've got to watch out for Peter Thiel. We don't know what his next move is. He's already made his imprint on New Zealand, and that's very close for us. And we know that he's in talks all the time with different sort of business things in Australia. So we're just watching that one. Writing on the wall for that one. We used to have to worry about Elon Musk coming and taking over the fine earth, kept trying to take over our rare earth mines down in Kelli. And that's all gone quiet now because he's obviously just focusing on what he's doing. It's gone quiet. It's nothing happening there at the moment. At the moment. I think he's in repair mode with Tesla and all that sort of stuff, right? After his Doge moment. But
terrible part.
Yeah. So obviously billionaires don't care, right? They don't care. That's why they're capitulating all the time, because as long as they keep making money, and that's all. And Trump's the movie star or the reality show star that wants to. His only thing was stay out of jail, make money. These are the people that are running the US at the moment. But then you have, on top of that, to have these two ex-CIA agents say, look, we know for a fact that most people have got an exit plan in place, and they should too, because we don't. There's now even a little. I used to think, no, I don't think they'll go into civil war. They're too lazy.
There's people who are building bunkers and all that.
Yeah, now I don't know.
On a massive scale.
With what you've seen with ICE, which is that style of human being that sort of uses violence to achieve their ends. I don't know, but there has been, because of recent things that happen in the Senate and Congress and the Supreme Court capitulating basically to Trump, the Constitution in the last week or two seems to be at its biggest threat at the moment. And look, everybody has to stay positive and hopeful. That's also useful, but you have to also face reality of if you talk to anybody who's been in a war zone, pre-war starting out, but maybe there was rumblings of it beforehand. There's always rumblings, right? And I have friends from before that have been in war zones, and I had very valuable conversations with them where they said, look, everybody knew they needed an exit plan. It doesn't mean forever, but you must make an exit plan. You must have a bag ready to go to evacuate if you need to. Many choose to stay and fight, or choose to stay for a multitude of different reasons, especially older people who it's impossible for them to just move to another country while the war's going on. Obviously, they want to move as many children with their mothers and things, because they also have to preserve their culture and country when the war is over. So all these things matter. And I hadn't heard any Americans talking about that, but I always used to wonder, gosh, I hope all these people particularly the journalists and stuff that are out there, and they're at risk eventually.
And entertainers. They're at risk as well because they speak out against it. But they also have the money to have an exit plan in place to go if they need to, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what about the people who don't have 5 million plus to be able to do that? You know, I mean, but even then, you've seen in the last since his first administration, you see a lot of Americans moving to Italy and France and pooling together families like where daughters and sons and their husbands and wives and children and mum and dad, grandparents and stuff have pooled together, sold their everything in the States and to put into renovating a chateau or whatever. Now maybe that was a dream of theirs before, but then maybe they thought, what, if not now, then when? So that may be a possibility for people who don't have $5 million. There's no one immune on this planet from the planet itself.
No.
And
that's true too. Yeah.
We, on an ultimate level, we're connected to the planet. I know, yes, maybe people can survive extreme circumstances.
I want people to think of Mother Earth as more than just a planet, right? It's a whole organism on it. It's a whole organism, just like your body is a whole organism. My body is a whole... Planet Earth is a whole organism. Now, you think about when your body gets sick, you caught a cold from somebody else, what does it do to get well? It shakes it off. It sweats it out. It does whatever it has to do to get well, right? That's the natural system of the body. You don't think planet Earth has that?
No, but I know planet has consciousness as well.
We all do.
Yeah.
Everything has consciousness.
I'm just saying that yes, I get your point.
So what I'm saying is that it is a major, huge organism that is far more powerful than all the beings, including animals and everything, that are on the planet, right? She has the power to get rid of us, and if she feels that she needs to readjust herself because she's unwell, because we've made her unwell, she will do that.
And that's why I'm talking about consciousness.
Yeah.
Beware, everyone.
I think most people are aware. Surely they're aware. I mean, most people are aware of climate change. But if you talk about those in spiritual terms, make no mistake, Mother Earth has the ability and will, like any organism that is uncomfortable because they've caught some disease, they will do whatever they have to do to survive. And if that means, moving the ticks and fleas off their back, they will do that, right? Well, I don't believe Gaia is any different. She's just shaking to try and shake loose the damage that has been caused by us, the ants, that are, inhabiting the planet.
I guess, I think we are deeply entwined in that consciousness.
Yeah.
But yes, there's nothing to say that we, as we exist and as we, in our current form, are immune. Yeah.
No, nobody is. Nobody is. And I'm just saying, as a single source, Gaia Earth is far more powerful than 9 billion souls on the planet. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
And who knows what's out there in the universe in other planets and things. I'm sure there's other beings on other planets that are far more powerful or far more... and if what we are doing on this planet affects the universe in some way, which I'm sure it does, like set off a nuclear bomb, where does all that energy go, right? Does it affect our universe? Does it reverb to other planets? Probably. And if there are other beings on other planets, right, they also would be far more ahead than what we are, maybe, and maybe they're benevolent, maybe they're not, we don't know. But if they wanted to protect themselves, and that meant annihilating us, they would. I'm just saying, in reflection, we could be the most heinous beings in the universe. We could be the lowest of the low. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Maybe. I just think...
Well, all I know is
science.
There's a lot of dense energy here, and that's why we really need...
Okay, so what I'm saying is that dense energy, if we don't grow, if humanity doesn't rise to the above, okay, which is where we come back to the more you can marry your heart and mind on whatever story you're doing, the more elevated we can become as a consciousness, then maybe there's a chance to save humanity and the planet. But there's also, we have to be realistic, there's also the possibility that we end up annihilating ourselves, and certainly...
Let's not do that, people.
No, well, let's not do that, but I'm just saying, if you don't, if you're not honest about that...
Yes, I agree.
If you're not honest and say it's a real possibility, if we don't pay attention and we don't step up to the plate and do better, right, that we're like fleas, you know, just shake us off. And then who knows what else is out there, what other civilizations on other planets there are, and how it affects them.
I don't know. Come on.
Step it up. Step it up. Do as much work on your heart and mind marriages as possible, because again, I'm going to say it again. I said it last week, but I'm going to say it again because it's really still nobody is in this alone. We are in this together, and that even means embracing your enemies. Sorry, but that's the truth. If we are going to rise above this and save humanity, so to speak, and save the planet,
save ourselves.
That's taking a dramatic act. I get that. It's dramatic words I'm using, but I want to have the conversation because it's just the science is there, the truth is there, you know. And if we don't rise up and work collectively together, well, you know, we don't know what can happen.
Well, that's all very heavy. And
I'm sorry about that.
No, that's right. I started it, but I'm leaning in.
Steffi, are you crying?
No, I'm fine. I'm just, well, actually, a friend of mine's just died.
Oh.
No, I'm not laughing. No, they've been waiting for him.
Oh,
to,
okay.
So it's someone,
so literally
blessed
that
be.
was just like, that's why I was on my phone.
Oh.
Because this is in England. Yes, my beautiful friend.
Oh.
Well, from personal experience, love,
he's been ill for
he's
5
probably
years,
in a better place than us at the moment.
So they've just had his passing of life, and he's died at home, so that was okay.
Oh, that's good. So he was able to.
Yeah, and his husband was his carer. He'd been caring for him.
So,
for the last 5 years.
I was speaking my language. So he was able to ascend from his own home, which is lovely.
Yes.
Yeah. What I know about this stuff, make no mistake, we go on existing.
Yeah.
No matter what. Even if we did get kicked off this planet, right? If Mother Earth said, enough, you're all out of here, we still go on.
Yeah.
There's no end to... We just go and do it again, I guess, and try it until we get it right. And hopefully we do better every time.
Yeah.
And I will be exiting the building in a couple of minutes' time, just so you know.
Steph will be exiting.
Just like Elvis Presley, she's in the habit of... That's why we always say it. Stephanie's left the building.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, I don't know, Geraldine, what do you want to... Is there anything that else you would like to speak about today?
Well, we had a family friend who passed away at the beginning of the week, so Vale Tony, it's been quite a week actually.
It's been a week,
and he just turned 85, so you know, and he did say on the weekend, I think it's time. He kind of went out on his own terms,
which is lovely.
Yeah, it was pretty strong till the end actually. So I just wanted
death
to
is part of our reality.
shout out to all our
It doesn't help those who are
family
left
and
behind.
friends.
I know that, but you know, if you can have a conscious, beautiful passing like that, that's awesome.
Yeah, he really was smiling till the
And he really didn't want a colostomy bag.
He really didn't want a colostomy bag. He was adamant that he didn't live with the colostomy
I'm right there
bag.
with him. I would choose to check out before that too.
He
Yes,
chose
absolutely.
to check out. And strangely, he went in for some exploratory. It wasn't supposed to be surgery. It was really just to see what was going on, and they did say that he may not survive the anaesthetics, and he didn't. So some part of me was like, well, has he been euthanized?
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it does probably happen.
Has he
quite
been,
a lot.
or do you mean did he choose that?
Well, he was accepting.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't a silly person. I think he kind of... Yeah. Anyway, that's just speculation. And he did sign the papers, and he signed up to have that surgery, and he didn't come out of that surgery. Yeah, well, I think that was Tony's. That was his instructions as well.
That's not living. That's right, isn't it? And because I know what's on the other side, and I know how magnificent that is, and how, you know, it's just a different collective consciousness altogether.
Well, I'm not going to forget.
I have no fear of death, is what I'm trying to say.
Tony, you know,
No.
smiling as he's going into the operation room.
But you know, and I know this is hard.
So he was probably.
I know. And look, just talking to people, I know. Look, grief is one of the most difficult things to process. I believe that, and betrayal are the two hardest emotions to process. And I've been through that many times myself. But I've also had the experience of knowing what it is like to die and what's on the other side, and it's pretty peaceful place. And what I do know 100% for sure is that you do go on after here. And you do connect. You do stay connected to people on the planet. 100%, I know that.
Well, I had
for sure. I don't talk about it much, and I don't, you know, I don't work in that area, but I'm aware of it. It's when I had that personal experience myself a couple of times now. What it did was allow me. I don't fear death in any way, shape, or form at all. There is no such thing as death, really. Yeah. And I know that now. No, I get that. For other people, that's a belief system. But when you've had the experiences that I've had to be the truth, and so you don't go back from that. You just can't.
That morning I had Piscean intuition. I was actually thinking I was going into work, but I didn't go into work because our friend was not well.
Yeah.
But I was in the bathroom, probably about to brush my teeth actually, and I just realised his wife was there basically, and she's passed on, and so I just said her name. I just said hello, and I thought this is a sign.
Yeah, that's usually.
So
a
I had a little
sign.
bit of not quite a premonition. I really did have. Yeah, I was given
a visit.
I was given a visit. Yeah,
she probably came to say.
She was coming.
Hey, just wanted to let what's going on.
Collect him, basically.
Yeah, and just dropped in on you on the way.
Yep.
So that's my experience of that stuff. I can remember when Mum was passing, and we always. For that 2 months, she was never on her own. We always made sure that someone was sitting with her. I had been sitting with her about 6 hours straight anyway. And most of that time she was awake and sleep. And she was getting closer to, it was only the last 24 hours that she lost the ability to speak and some of that. But on this occasion, I remember her, all of a sudden she sat upright and she was laughing. And she looked at me and she said, all those other times that it's not me that you talk to when I come back. It's not me. I said, I know, Mum, it's okay. I'm all good. I understand exactly what's going on.
We're getting in deep today.
Yeah, but she was laughing. She often was laughing when she, and so that's how I knew her spirit is fine. Her spirit is fine.
Yeah.
She was in and out of it at that time, in and out of the body. But every time she popped back in the body, she'd look at me laughing. She'd say, it's not me the other time. So I'm like, yeah, I've got it, Mum, I know. So and I could speak into that spiritually what's going on, but I won't today. On another occasion. Let's just get first through. We've got, Steffi's worked very hard to draw up the content of 14 episodes. And I think the filming today is, what episode are we filming today?
We've all worked together on that, but yes.
Yeah, but originally, in the very
yeah.
beginning, it was Steffi and I for 6 weeks when I was bedridden for that time. We marked up a plan and she wrote the content out and organised it.
Well, actually,
in
you
sequence.
and I worked.
We've
actually got 13 episodes.
Yeah.
But then we've got part A and part B. Yeah.
Because we're StudioZer0 is the publisher of this podcast, we thought we would start with 0.
Episode 10.
10.
Yeah.
So we've only got 4 more to film.
No, we've got 3 more to film.
Oh, 3 more to film.
Yeah. So episode 11, which is I Am That I Am. And then episode 12, Choose Love, Not Fear. And then the finale, Offerings from the Ashes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh.
That's a nice one to get to. Anyway, after that, if we're having a conversation, and the meeting we had this morning while we were running so late was because I was saying, what do we do after we finish this first season of the 14 episodes? Are we going to continue on? Yes. We don't know yet, but if we do, what does it look like? And I said, well, I'd rather sort of start interviewing people, but also we'll do a bit of a deeper dive if I have any say in it, which I don't always.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm a good producer who pulls me in line, so
It's the Stephanie, Gizmo and Geraldine show from now on.
And essentially, I would like to, moving forward from there, we'll always touch on politics and we'll always touch on art, of course, but I probably would want to do a more deeper dive into the spiritual experiences that have come about through all of these stories we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But I think it was important to start this way, and because of the situation that we're all living in at the moment on the planet, and how it's very much that divide 50. A very important time, unprecedented time on the planet, so it's important to speak into that, and that was a good place to start. Look, if we had have started this podcast and that wasn't happening, we probably just would have gone more into the spirit and art stuff, right?
True.
Yeah. The geopolitics always informs my art, and always has done.
There's a lot of politics being...
And I might have mentioned it every now and then, but we probably wouldn't have mentioned it as much as we have. But it was just the way it played out, and I'm very much a believer in staying with the flow, just go with the flow. So even though you might set up the content and the questions, you have to go with what your gut feeling is of like whatever's happening right here, right now. Before we got and sat down here, there was a lot that happened in the last week, but there was also a lot that happened just last night and yesterday, right?
Right, I have to go.
And Stephanie's got to leave
the
again. But I was just thinking, is there anything else that you want to speak about?
Well, I was in the theme of people leaving this mortal coil. I just wanted to mention that.
Considering another one's just left.
Yeah, well.
And you know what?
Speaking,
Just before you go, Stephanie, because you made these are absolutely perfect.
They are, aren't
That
they?
lemon is great.
They're also gluten free.
Did you take some? Or did you take lots?
No, I've had two, but I will take two.
Take some for yourself.
Yeah, take some home, love, for you and your daughter. Not your ex-husband.
Oh, God, no. Unless they've got mushrooms in them.
Or do you like mushrooms?
No, that's death cat mushrooms. That's not got to go on camera.
We shouldn't be laughing about the mushroom lady, but it's an Australian joke now.
Did you not know the mushroom
I
lady?
don't know anything about the mushroom lady.
What?
The woman who, what's her name? Is it Erin Coates?
I'm going to pinch another ball as well.
Perfection. Go for it.
They're really good. They're really good. I'm like, I've got to make some of them.
Oh, you like those?
Yes, I do.
I'll write the recipe. It's a made-up recipe. So I'll write it for you. Yeah.
Good on you, Cal.
I love finger food.
These fruit,
Finger food's my favourite way to eat because you get the variety, you know?
Melting moments are my favourite.
Yeah, but look at what you did. Look, they're perfect. Their melting moments are really hard to get right, especially when you're doing gluten wheat free. It's not easy. It's baking, you know?
What was that first thing you said you wanted me to make? And then you said it was going to take about 3 hours and 45 minutes.
And you went, no,
And I went, get fucked.
She did actually say that. I can't remember now. I can't remember. I cannot remember.
It was something extravagant, like you wanted me to make a profiterole.
Oh, a crockenbush.
That's it.
Because I thought it looked spectacular on the table. That's what I was inviting me in, and it had little you know how much I love raspberries and spun toffee over it.
And I basically went.
And I love making choux pastry.
And I went, you can go get fucked.
But I would have done the choux pastry. I'm very good at making choux pastry.
I'm sure you said it very nicely, Steph.
No, I said it just like that.
She absolutely did not say it nicely.
Surprise, surprise.
But that's the Aussie way. We're all on board with that. We're all okay. We don't take offence, do we?
You do know what we're talking about, the mushroom
No!
lady.
Alright.
What's the mushroom before you go?
Angus, I am now leaving the building.
Stephanie?
Oh no, hang on. No, I'm not. Kelly called me back in.
What's the mushroom lady?
Can I eat this?
What's her name?
Well, no, but what is the story? I don't know anything about it. I did not know anything about it. I don't know what you're talking about.
The woman who killed members of her family with mushrooms.
When did this happen?
Well, just recently.
This year.
I had never. This is the problem. I haven't watched network news for 30 years, but I would have thought it would have come up my feed
Australian
on
woman guilty
YouTube.
of murdering relatives with toxic mushroom meal.
Last
I think
year,
there's a
wasn't it?
Netflix series about her now as well.
Oh, okay. So is it just that she's just been sentenced or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now leaving the building.
And so's Gizmo. Whenever you leave, Gizmo sees that as he's out.
No. Okay.
He's like, she can go, I can go.
Because he's trying to see
Ready?
what the food is.
Love, laugh, breathe.
That's the one. There you go, religion.
Children.
Oh, he's back.
But unfortunately, children.
He's too lonely. Not hello, my dad. She was poisoning them slowly.
Yeah, but she's obviously pretty mad, and so they really looked at her
Mental health.
Mental health.
Well, there you go. That's where mental health that's not taken care of. All the more reason why we need to take care of mental health in the community in a far better way, because that's where that stuff can lead. But even if it's only self-deprecating, like even if it's only the self-harm stuff that happens, that's enough for me to say, whatever we're doing is not working. We need to do better at this.
So she managed to take nearly 4 people out from that fateful meal. I don't like to follow these things
too closely, because
I feel.
And look, it's good to be informed, but you don't want to. I agree with you. You don't want to stay landed in that place because it can.
Yeah, but as Stephanie said, it's going to be a Netflix series because it really does capture.
Well, when they do a series like that, though, a lot of people might be able to consume it because it's a couple of times removed, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think when it's fresh and it's in the news, guess what's going on with your Tootsie? Yeah. What's going on with your Tootsie, baby? But so is there?
Well, I was just going to mention John Martinkus also died on Monday. The same day as our family friend Tony. And I guess that might be why it came to my attention, actually.
Yeah.
But John Martinkus, may he rest in peace. He was an incredible journalist, and...
What was his full name again, love?
John Martinkus. He did play a vital role in the liberation of East Timor by telling the truth when so many journalists did not.
Now I know who you're talking about.
It resonates so much for me is that we have just seen this situation in Gaza, journalists being killed and sent and pushed out. We have this incredibly dire situation of an incredible number of people being still murdered because they don't have the journalists there, and they've just it's quite an extraordinary situation. But when I was reading about John Martinkus, and he did go on to be in
I just watched Foreign Correspondence. Did a story on him. It was really quite an extraordinary man. Yeah. I mean, it might be a bit older, but it was on my YouTube.
Right.
I follow Foreign Correspondence on YouTube.
So I just thought what was interesting was you could just transfer Indonesia for Israel at every point. So it was like repeating Indonesia/Israel propaganda points, and this is what our journalists are doing at this point, reiterating false narratives about the origin and nature of the conflict and denying the Timorese/Palestinian genocide when it was happening. So I just feel like this is the time for people to really to rise up, and truth telling is so critical, and we have lost an incredible number of
truth not being told, hey?
So for people who haven't, obviously there has been people annihilated just for doing their job in, I don't even like to say Middle East because it is in Gaza, and what's going on in West Bank right now is just devastating as well. But also think about the whole state of journalism and how it's had to...
Hence why so many are leaving the mainstream version of that and making their own podcast because they get freedom in that.
Yeah, and for us to be able to have this platform and bring people to our table so that we can discuss this. Yeah. And I guess for me it was
from a very,
so relevant.
What I would call kitchen table voice, because that's where we are part of the mainstream, even though we're a little subculture on our own with the art stuff. Essentially, we are the people. We're not.
I mean, we're also the white people.
Yeah.
And this is why I find, and we have to trust ourselves. We have to find that alignment and unity. Just talking about what we have been talking about. We then find our heart and our mind and that unity of heart and mind. But I look at the traditional people and what so many traditional cultures are saying over and over and over, which is, I guess, that we don't really need to invent new systems because on a deeper level, we actually have so much already in place here within ourselves as well as humanity. There's so much that's already anchored.
I think the outside systems, though, are what are collapsing because they are of no longer service to us, no longer working, whether you're autocratic or democratic kind of voice. I think that is collapsing. I think that's inevitable. What the new system looks like, I don't know, but it certainly has to be better than what we've done in the last couple of hundred years.
Yeah.
Look, democracy was always an experiment, and it may fail, but it may be something better that we can, all participate in. Coming to the middle ground, talking about the middle ground again, nothing can be resolved until we can meet in the middle ground, no matter what your beliefs are or what your faiths are. If we can't find, okay, you've got to keep drawing the lines in the sand, but the closer we can get to the middle ground to have the conversation, that's the place of healing. That's the place where we can rise above it as a collective consciousness, and that's the place where humanity can rise above. Do we want to continue the next 200 years in the same way we have the last 200 in particular, or even for the last 1,000 years? Do we really want to continue being a planet of people or a race of beings that continue to war, continue to commit
to be
heinous acts? There has to be a place where that all stops, and I really believe this is the time that is a very real possibility, that we may not have a choice in it. It may just collapse on its own, and then those who are left behind, I guess, will have to decide how they want to move forward, because what has been is it no longer works. Maybe it worked for a time being, but doesn't work now. And the other thing, I just want to speak into what you're just talking about. I sent you maybe a week or two ago, there was that I watched the UK The Rest is Politics, Alistair and Rory, which I absolutely think are amazing. It's probably one of the better podcasts I watch. I think too, because it's English, it's sort of, I feel like we're getting a cinema perspective of what Australians would have. There's a certain connection there in that way, in our history alone. But they're going through political unrest as well. But one of the people that they interviewed about a week ago was an Australian aid worker. He's been an aid worker his whole life, foreign aid worker. Amazing human being. Gave the most magnificent interview. So I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I wish I did. I'm not good at names at the best of times, but if I'd written it down, I wish I'd written it down. So
I wish I'd watched it.
Geraldine I sent it to her because I know she'd love to see it. But he has been in Gaza since it all began. And he was speaking about that at the ground level, what it really is going on at the ground level, and really how the Palestinians are doing. It was a really, really just the most amazing, measured, informed, calm interviews I've seen. It was pretty much on a par with the interview that Ezra did with Gillian Tett. It had that same sensibility about it. So if you get a chance to watch it, I'll put the link in the description, because at the moment I don't have it off the top of my head. I did send you the link on your phone, didn't I?
Yeah.
So maybe... Anyway, I'll put it in the link. I'm sorry that I don't have the name, but it is The Rest is Politics, Alistair and UK. Alistair and Rory are your hosts on that podcast. And magnificent interview. Guys, well done. It was the best interview I've seen you guys do. I like you regardless anyway, but I think you're very good at what you do. But that was an extraordinary interview. And I think probably it touched my heart a lot too, because he's Australian.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing. Is it not refreshing there's so many people working quietly in the background that are true humanitarians, right? Doing good work. And we don't hear about them because we're just hearing about the chaos all the time. So I'd like to kind of celebrate people like him when we see him, because they're the unsung heroes, right? As far as I'm concerned, they're true angels, right, on the planet. And I know that's kind of cliche to say, what you're doing, Giz. I know that people said that. But it's, again, some of those little cliches are still true, right? And in this case, this particular person is an amazing person, and send him lots of love for the work that he's doing. It's great to see. So.
I just do a deep sigh because there doesn't seem to be very much that's changing what's happening on the ground, and I haven't lost hope.
No, but he speaks into that,
yeah.
Geraldine. That's why I want you to watch it, because he says, look, even though
the world has risen up, hasn't it?
It has risen up,
yeah.
And there will be resolution with it, I believe, in the end. I do think that Palestine will get the two-state solution eventually, no matter how much it's being fought now from the other side. I do think that is one that will come, but unfortunately already they've lost more than a third of their population, right?
Well,
so over 670,000 Palestinian civilians. That wasn't even counting any of those in the military.
I guess for me it's
considering there's only, I think it was 2.5 million that marched back into Palestine and stuff.
Yeah,
was that
pretty
was
much
left?
2.3, and it's the population of Perth.
And it's the population of Perth.
And it's not...
It'd be like wiping out...
It
would be like wiping out... Can you imagine someone coming in here invading us, which is a possibility, by the way, and we lost 670,000 out of that 2.43 million. Just horrendous to even think about, really. But anyway, this guy, watch him. I watched the interview that he did with the rest of politics. Because what he speaks about too is there's still, he said, whilst they go in and out of hope, the people he's working with the Palestinians that he's working with at the ground level, he says they still manage somehow, somewhere along the line to find hope. There is still hope to work with there. It's not completely, it's getting less and less, but it's not completely lost.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's also the 50th anniversary of the Papua New Guinea independence.
Yeah. I
say, bring back Gough. Bring back Gough.
Gough Whitlam, those of you who are not Australian, was the Prime Minister that a lot of people felt did a lot of good work and was ceremoniously removed as Prime Minister. First time ever in our history, never happened again and should never happen again, where the Governor General, they sacked him, basically. It's never happened again, it should never happen again, and it shouldn't have happened when it happened. Even my dad, who was, because it was done by the Liberal government setting it up with the Governor General, and even my dad, who was at that time a very solid Liberal person, he did later vote once for Labor because he was very unhappy with the Liberal Party. Even he said that should never happen. That should never have happened. No one should have that kind of power. It's the people that vote the government in, and it should have nothing to do with the Governor General. Yes. And what was his famous speech that he made at the end? Because no one's going to save the Governor General.
God save the Queen.
Yeah, no one is going to save the Governor General. Yeah.
And the thing about Gough was he had such an incredible... Well, and let's bring it back to heart and mind and heart. Because I truly believe that Gough Whitlam was somebody who had...
Kids are very restless.
An alignment of heart and mind. He was an incredibly... bright,
a great supporter of the arts
person, but also...
I think it was under his administration that the Blue Poles from Jackson Pollock that was highly controversial was purchased, and look at it now, it's one of our most valuable artworks in our collection.
Yeah, we could be here for another half an hour just talking
about that one incident,
all of his achievements.
Oh, yeah.
And the breakthroughs, and I think that Gough Whitlam, for me, represented a rebirth of Australia, a rebirth of human ideals and humanity. He was an incredible humanitarian, and when we had...
the caucus didn't like that.
Yeah, which...
this is why
there's too much about
they did this backdoor manipulation.
Yeah. So we really...
and the other thing I wanted to mention, our version of Trump, Pauline Hanson, was out there protesting with the anti-immigration people. How appalling is that? That a senator, I don't even know how she's still in politics, really. Like she's been to jail and all sorts of things. It's very sounds like Trump, but on a much smaller scale. She was never going to be Prime Minister, thank God.
And we also had Jacinta...
We have a different system here that probably would...
Senator Jacinta Price also lead.
Yeah, she's left. That she was sacked by the new Liberal leader. What's her
I
name?
was actually thinking of Bob Catter. So
Oh, Bob
my
Carr.
bad. My bad.
Okay.
Bob Catter.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
But Jacinta Price has been taken from the shadow ministry.
She's been basically sacked.
Yeah,
It's the word we like to use in Australia.
And I just find that really interesting. There's plenty of politicians who do terrible spin, and Pauline Hanson has done a lot of that. Has she been... Well, she's not from a major party, that's the difference.
That's the difference. And also the alignment between... Because she was National Party stuff off with, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always been a coalition between the Liberal and National Party, which is the country party. Long histories. And she, you know, she said a lot of not good things during the election time, and I think she just never lived that down. And even though she changed her story, and they said, okay, we're coming back together, and let's, you know, the Liberal Party are struggling here to find that what their new voice is.
Yeah, and also there's people from her own community that's been murmuring since that.
Yeah,
and now recently saying,
well, there was a lot of people...
You're shaming us.
Yes, that's right. I said to Nungali, I said, why would she do that? Why would she say those things? And how does that play out for you? And he says, it's really simple. It's just greed, Kelly. She's just doing it for the money. And I said, so you don't think she has any genuine interest in the Indigenous rights? And he said, no.
Well, no, she's certainly...
Look at this.
Riled up. He said, we're having a little love in here. It's so nice.
I know, but
this is very grounding, actually.
Grounding. And you know what,
grounding for him and grounding for me.
Gizzy, because he's a rescue dog, has taken time to get used to everyone coming in and out of this house. And it only since... Geraldine's only here 1 day a week, but since we've been doing the podcasting, he's really become your friend. Look at them. They've bonded like beyond.
I think
it's so gorgeous for me to see. It's so, like, it makes my heart go, thank God that he connects to other people other than me.
I think we've got similar haircuts at the moment. What do you
got similar colour and haircuts. Look at him. Look. They're quite cute together, really, aren't they? And on that note, I'm going to eat another melting moment because it's delicious.
Oh, really good. A little bit of lemon in anything baked. I always want really good vanilla.
Well, I've got limoncello on the
go. all together.
My neighbour gave me probably about 15 kilos of lemons.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
up there.
With lemon seasons.
Did you see the lemon peel up in there?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
So we've got the limoncello on the go. You've got to wait for about 6 weeks for it before you can cook it up.
Limoncello on our way.
But
we're going to have that part of our afternoon tea.
What that means when you do limoncello, I've got 15 kilos of lemon juice from those 15 kilos of lemons. Yeah. So, not sure. So, anyway, as we move forward for the next few weeks, you're going to see a lot of lemon recipes. Lemon-based recipes.
Put them in the ice cube. Put a little bit of cinnamon in one. Put a bit of turmeric in another. Oh,
that's beautiful. If you make up lemon ice cubes, like what Geraldine is saying, lemon juice ice cubes, they're nice. In a hot water or I have it every day. Helps get all the enzymes going.
But anyway, lemon, I don't think you can have too much lemon.
No. Well, you can actually, but...
Of course we can.
Do your own research on it. These are just the things we do.
Yeah. Wise words. So, I think that's our signing out. Is there anything else?
No, I'm just really happy to be eating this yummy food today.
We have eaten well. We've spoken, hopefully you think we've spoken well. And we hope that you can join us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you at our table.
So I put a little message out there yesterday and I said, is anyone out there?
Was that on YouTube? Which one?
Yeah, I left a comment on one of our own episodes.
Oh.
The editor and filmer actually, and the host posted a message to myself, hello, is there anyone out there? Talk to me, speak to me.
I missed it. Did anybody see that? Anyway. We'll close out, and if anyone would like to
there's only one
respond
comment.
To Kelly's
there's only one comment on all 7 episodes, and it's from me, so you can't miss it. It's not hard to find.
Do some catch-ups on our episodes. We look forward to seeing you hopefully next week.
Yeah.
Until then, be well, and
remember, once you get that heart and mind working together in unison, talking about unison, that's the other thing that I was talking about a lot, unison, what that actually means. And I think that for me, it's that marriage of that mind and heart, and then transcend.
Okay. Well, that
Not
was
just
last
I'm
week's.
talking about transcend the stories that you're marrying them heart and
Well,
mind
if you're
on.
ready to transcend,
I don't mean transcend, leave the planet yet.
No.
Not that kind of
So
transcendence.
just take care, whatever
Although,
you do. Over and out.
remember, yes, definitely over and out. But before we're over and out,
Can we get this right?
laugh, and breathe.
We're
What
just
do you
saying
reckon,
every
Giz?
different order.
What do you reckon, baby?
Love, laugh, and
Hey,
breathe.
laugh, and breathe. Look at him. He's just obsessed with you at the moment, isn't he? It's so cute.
I'm obsessed with you too.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys.
See you for now.
الفن بالنسبة لي هو الحياة، هو الشباك المطل على الروح الإنسانية. الفن جزء من حياتي. أنا الفنان التشكيلي أحمد عبد الرؤوف مهنا، مواليد غزة تحديدا في مخيم دير البلاح، حاصل على درجة البكالوريوس في الفنون الجميلة من جامعة الأقصى. بشتغل كفنان متفرغ، عندي استوديو بمارس حياتي اليومية بهذا الاستوديو. زائد أنه أنا متخصص في العلاج النفسي والانفعالي من خلال الفنون للأطفال. بنحاول نكتشف من خلال الرسومات عند الأطفال هل في أطفال بيعانوا من مشاكل نفسية، كيف ممكن إحنا نعمل لحل المشكلات هذه عند الأطفال من خلال الفنون.